Hello, everyone. Before we begin our descent, make sure to like and subscribe to Hush Ledger. Leaving a comment telling us where you're listening from helps the algorithm keep you in the dark with us. Now, let's begin. Story 1. Don't go to the 4th floor. I travel for work a lot. Most weeks, I live in hotels, a parade of hand sanitizers and disposable slippers. Key cards that never work on the first try. Last December, my company sent me to Willow Heights Resort, a cheap, sprawling place outside town accessed by an endless driveway lined with sagging maples. It was supposed to be 2 nights, in and out, nothing special. But 2 nights at Willow Heights changed everything. I checked in around 7 p.m., long after the last streaks of sun had peeled away. The lobby reeked of lemon air freshener and old sweat, the kind of smell that clings. The carpet was patternless, a dull red, and the walls adorned with generic art. Blurry seaside scenes, all in identical frames. The clerk, a hunched older man with a thin white mustache, barely looked up. His name tag read Carl. I spelled out my name, went through the motions. Carl passed me the key card, mumbling a warning so quiet I nearly missed it. Don't go to the 4th floor. I paused, tried to chuckle. What's wrong with the 4th floor? He didn't answer, just stared at me until I tucked the key in my pocket. Room 312. 3rd floor, a relief. Hallways at Willow Heights were wrong at night. Too wide, fluorescent bulbs flickering, old stains darkening the patterned wallpaper. I passed by the elevator, half expecting it to rattle open, but it stayed shut. My room was basic: bed, desk, an old RCA TV bolted to the dresser. The heating unit rattled like coins in a can, and every so often, I smelled something wet, almost metallic. Now, my window looked out over the pool, a cracked blue grave covered in dead leaves. At midnight, just as I was giving up on sleep, I saw someone watching from the 4th floor's hallway window. Just a shape, barely visible in the swinging shadows. I blinked, looked again, gone. I tried to shake it off, but sleep wouldn't come easy. Around 2 a.m., the noises started. Not footsteps, but slow dragging, like someone moving luggage with a broken wheel. Then soft, breathy giggling that carried up through the vent. I turned off every light, pressed myself to the wall, and waited. Half an hour later, my phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. Don't open your door. I deleted it, ignoring the lump in my stomach. At 3:13 a.m., the hallway lights went out. The electric hum vanished, and I heard a voice outside my door whisper, 4th floor. A chill ran through me. I pressed my ear against the door. Faintly, I heard keys jangling, a woman crying. Then silence. Sleep was a lost cause. Morning came. The hotel was quiet, other guests in their own fogs. At breakfast, I tried asking Carl again. He shuffled behind the desk, eyes ringed in red. I said, don't go, he wheezed. That's all. My last night, sleep felt impossible. I stared out the window, watched as the fog rolled in, thick as cotton. On the 4th floor, a light flicked on. A shape moved behind the glass, too tall, too thin. Watching, I packed my things. Tried to convince myself it was paranoia. But at 4 a.m., as I hurried through the lobby with my suitcase squeaking behind, I passed the elevator, now open. Inside, it sat empty. except for one thing: a woman's shoe soaked in something dark. Carl was gone. I checked out, left the town behind, but every time I enter a hotel now, I ask for any floor but the fourth. And sometimes when the elevator dings late at night, I see that shape behind the glass. A reminder never to ignore a whispered warning. Sometimes it pays to listen. Story 2. Room 209 wasn't empty. I was supposed to be in town for a wedding, but the real nightmare started at the Hawthorne Marquis Hotel. I'd booked a 2-night stay, small room, maybe 20 feet from bed to window, with a faint yellow hue from the bedside lamp. Old building, weird angles, and the kind of silence that buzzes in your bones. My first night was nothing special. Late arrival, TV noise, leftover sandwich from the vending machine. Around midnight, I double-checked the locks and crashed hard. But at 2:17 a.m., I woke up to the phone ringing. I wasn't expecting any calls. On the other end, silence. Not just dead air, a scratching sound like nails on cheap plastic. I hung up, told myself it was a glitch, but it rang again almost immediately. This time, the voice on the line was barely a whisper. "Don't leave your room." I laughed. A dry, nervous noise. Is this a joke? But the caller had already hung up. I tried going back to sleep. 20 minutes later, the lock on my door rattled, just for a second, as if someone had tried a key. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, heartbeat tripping. Then my phone buzzed. A new text, unknown sender. Room 209 isn't empty. Stay inside. 209 was next door. There was no way I was sleeping now. I slid quietly to the door and looked through the peephole. Hallway empty, carpets stretching under dull lights. But as I watched, a figure shuffled past, distorted by the cheap glass. Tall, hair hanging loose, carrying something wrapped in a sheet. She stopped at 209, fumbled with the handle, but didn't go inside. Just stood there, head tilted, as if listening through the door. I stepped back, held my breath. The phone rang again. "Don't open it. She knows you're awake." I scrambled for my suitcase, ready to just leave, but the lock clicked, softly this time from outside. I heard a woman's voice, gentle but broken. "Let me in. Please. I need help." I didn't answer. She knocked, softly at first, but then harder. The floor creaked under her weight. I could smell something sharp, chemical like old bleach mixed with sweat. The knocking stopped. The hotel was dead silent. I sat on my bed all night, clutching a lamp, watching the handle for any sign of movement. At sunrise, I called the front desk. No answer. My phone showed another text. "She waits for those who listen." When I finally opened the door at 8 a.m., the hallway looked normal. Except for one thing. Outside 209, the sheet was gone. Just a wet patch on the carpet. At checkout, I asked if anyone was staying in 209. The clerk frowned, tapping at her monitor. "No one's in that room. Nobody has been for weeks." I left, swearing never to answer another unfamiliar phone call in a hotel. And sometimes, late at night, I hear ringing in my dreams. And I know better than to pick up. When you're alone in a hotel room, remember, not every knock is just housekeeping. Story 3. The Thing in the Stairwell. My company sent me out to Chicago for a 3-day seminar. The hotel was nothing special. 2 stars, faded sign, the kind of place built before fire codes. The front desk agent gave me a plastic key card and practiced smile, pointing vaguely to the elevator. I was assigned room 615, top floor. I barely noticed the stairwell at first. Just a heavy door with peeling yellow paint, marked stairs, emergency exit in crooked lettering. The kind nobody ever uses unless the elevators are broken. Late that first night, after a few drinks and a failed attempt at sleep, the elevator lights blinked out. I groaned, grabbed my coat, and decided to take the stairs down for some air. The stairwell was colder than the hallway, painted an institutional green that looked almost gray in the harsh emergency lights. It smelled damp, like mop water and something faintly sweet, almost sickly. On the 4th step down, I heard it. Not footsteps, but a wet, dragging sound, low and steady. I stopped, holding my breath. It was coming from below, shuffling slowly upward. I leaned over the rail, hoping to catch a glimpse. But the only thing I saw was a patch of darkness, moving strangely, slow and unsteady, like someone crawling with broken limbs. I tried to convince myself it was just another guest, maybe injured or drunk. "Hey, you need help?" I called out, voice trembling despite myself. No reply. The shuffling paused, then started again, faster, heavier. I turned, started up, but the sound chased me, increasing in speed. Suddenly, the emergency light above flickered, throwing sharp shadows across the narrow space. My heart slammed against my ribs as I scrambled higher. The air thickened, filling with the odor of spoiled milk and metallic tang. Then I saw it, a hand emerging from the darkness, pale and swollen, fingers impossibly long, knuckles gray and splitting. It grabbed at the step below me, nails clawing at the concrete, leaving red smears as it pulled itself forward. Its face came next, mouth stretched wide in a silent scream, black pits where its eyes should have been. I bolted, nearly falling backward. The thing kept coming, dragging itself faster, scraping nails down the steel rails. The sound echoed up and down, impossible not to hear. My key card slipped from my hand onto the stairwell floor as I clawed for the door to the 6th floor. The door wouldn't budge, jammed by years of neglect. I pounded on it, panic overtaking, tears hot in my eyes. Then silence. The scraping stopped. I turned, body tight with terror, only to see the creature gone, just a sickly puddle trailing down to the sub-basement. When I finally stumbled out, breathless and shaking, the night clerk just nodded, eyes sunken and dead. "Don't use the stairs," he muttered. "Elevators working again." By morning, the stairwell door was chained shut. When I checked out, the daytime staff pretended not to hear when I asked about odd guests at night. But the next time a fire alarm went off in a hotel, I stood by the window and prayed. Because sometimes the real emergency isn't the fire. It's what waits for you in the stairs after midnight. If you're ever stuck in a hotel after dark, remember, some doors are kept shut for a reason. If you have a story you'd like to share with the Ledger, send it to our email. The link is in the description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more true horror stories every week. You're not just listening, you're bearing witness. Good night.